Disgusting. Disgusting.
Hi guys, and it's Botson back with Botson Racing, and an incredible turn of events. All the favourites seem to win on day one. We've had a very disappointing day. A lot to look back on, a lot to sort of home in and sort of learn from. My mistakes personally, I'm very disappointed with the results. Happy to take on Vassal Vega, and that nearly bolted up in the first. Marine Nationale, I thought the ground was going to be too soft. He looks like an absolute machine. As I said in the second race, I thought John Bond's jumping would outperform El Fabiolo, and El Fabiolo outperformed him massively. Doesn't matter, even if he did have a nick, I think he just has too big of an engine. He's definitely improved off that Aintree run last year. He's become a totally different horse, and he could even win a champion chase next year. The Ultima, Corot Rambler goes back-to-back wins in the Ultima. Very, very nice run, again, through the middle of two horses. Oscar Elite only held on to fifth, and the Wolf and Fanny and Desirabel were nowhere, sadly, again. Back to the Arkle, I will say Hador did stay on for fifth. Again, not good enough, even when Dysart did fall at the last. Gladly, he was okay in the end, but just trying to find these each way values, and hopefully we can have a better day for day two. Keep going. Constitution Hill, what a performance. I can't believe that Timeform have not raised his mark at all. I think that's absolutely a joke. He beat an improving horse of State Man off a mark of 167. I think he is something like the marks of that, Racing Post wise or Timeform wise. And he's not even gone up. I mean, I think it's ridiculous. He's probably the best racehorse we'll see in a long, long, long time. He's unbelievable. And God knows what they're going to do with him next season, whether they continue going hurdling. Seeing people even wanting to go Gold Run next year. So a lot can happen. He's a very, very incredible horse, and who knows what's going to happen with him next year. So be looking forward to keeping an eye on him next season. Mares Chase, Honeysuckle won. Finally got a Cheltenham Glory again. 2 Mares Hurdles, 2 Champion Hurdles. What a mare. She's really, really done this industry proud. She's a definite fan favourite. I was cheering for her home, but I couldn't believe that she won it. Again, I thought she was too short. She, in my opinion, didn't have the best form out of all of them. I think Marie's Rock had the best form. Look, you can't really beat sort of Cheltenham Buzz at all, and I guess she does that. She does that in that sort of hypeness, I guess. 2 Champ Hurdles, it definitely, you know, has the race record and the appeal behind why she got backed, and the crowd loves her anyway. So was happy that she won, but disappointed in the end as well. Love Envoy stuck on for second, so looked like she was going to win, but to no avail. And in the Boodles, again, Phil Duroy didn't look that great, and Perseus Way, I think, finished about 8th or 9th. So again, very disappointing. Saw a lot of big moves on these horses and just didn't get paid off in the end. So yeah, sad times. Gaillard de Menil was a lucky winner. Tenzing finished 4th. Again, these sort of out of the places bets, even if we're getting the value, I'd rather back sort of a, you know, place or guaranteed profit than something that's coming in massively and still losing money. So maybe an angle to start looking moving forward to this race, this next day, I should say, and fingers crossed we can get more returns, because I'm definitely hoping that we do get more returns and a better day tomorrow. Done a lot of research, put a lot of hours into these tips for this for the day tomorrow, so I'm very hopeful that we start off with a couple of nice winners. And why don't we kick off with the first race, which is Ballamore. Ballamore Novice Hurdle, 2 mile 4 around the old course. And there's been a big move for Goodland. He's now around about 3 to 1 price. Imperi Pass heads in market 7 to 4. 9 to 2 Hermes Allen, 8 to 1 Champ KIELLY, bar the rest. And I think the move on Goodland was just purely off of Marine Nationale winning. I don't think many people really believed Barry Connell's interview he had on, I don't know if it was at the races or it was Racing Post, but he said he's an absolute freak. He's a machine. He came here fresh. This was the plan, and yeah, well, you can't blame him. He got it right and proved a lot of us wrong. So he talks up Goodland a lot, so maybe you'll get the double, but not at those prices. I'll be not backing Goodland. I would expect this one to drift. The big drift on Hermes Allen, I will be all over though. 922 at the moment, best price. I think his Chalet form's pretty nice. Best of the English horses over 2 mile 4. He's done nothing wrong. 3 from 3. I think he's got a great chance for Paul Nicholls, and hopefully get him into winning ways at Cheltenham again. Definitely think he's a big value play now at 92, and I can't understand the drift, just purely based on good land coming in off the owner. And another one that has very nice form is Champ KIELLY. Won the NELLS over in Ireland, not the first string. Imperi Pass is saddled by Paul Townend, same colours of El Fabiolo Munir, Simon Munir. But I will like Champ KIELLY at a price. Danny Mullins again. I do think he's got very nice form in that NELS Grade 2. I think he could come home nicely. Again, his best price is around 8-1. Imperi Pass, you always see these trends with trainers, where they'll run them, where the best plan is to go and set up for the race. So as soon as I saw Imperi Pass running in the Moscow Flyer, thought that screamed straight away, that's Willie's Supreme horse. And it's not the case. He's come here to the Ballymore and he's been absolutely hammered in. I think about 2 weeks ago he was 7-2. He's now 7-4. Very, very strong vibes from the camp, from the Mullins lot. And we saw that with Facile Vega again. He was a horse that was hyped up from the Mullins camp when he was 7-2. Got hammered into 7-4. Didn't win the race, but he performed a lot better than what he did last race. So again, we could see the same sort of instance where Imperi Pass is getting punted on, not off its form, but purely off of the hype of the trainer and the yard. So wouldn't be surprised if I saw Imperi Pass win this race, but at the prices I couldn't have him. The unknown trip's a bit of a myth to me, so I can't have him. So I think Champ KIELLY at a price at 8-1 and Hermes Allen at 9-2 is a steal. So moving on to the next race. And it is the Brown Advisory. I think the top of the market, Gerri Colombe, is way too short. I think the ground's now going to be, well, I don't think it's going to be raining overnight. I looked at the forecasts and I'd say the ground wasn't soft. Looking at how it was run and how the times and everything, I don't think the ground was actually soft, or as soft as people thought it was. I think it's soft in places, good to soft, which means the ground will dry out to be about good to soft tomorrow at least. So that would not play into the hands of Gerri Colombe. I've got him anti-post, I backed him at 28s. That was definite value. However, I don't think 5-4, 11-8 is a good price at all. So he's more likely to drift. You might see him come in. I mean, who knows? I thought Gaillard de Menil was going to drift and he went odds on. So I think Gerri Colombe will drift just based off the ground if it rains. I know it was raining a drizzle on that National Hunt chase, but I think it will be drier, which won't suit. Well, I mean, he's put very good performances in this season and he's a lot of people's bankers, but I don't think he's a price. I don't think he's a tip. Put him in a treble, put him in a double, put him in some sort of favourite Accas if you want, but I don't think he's worth a tip. The one I do like is Real Wacker. I think his form over chases have been really impressive, and the trainer's been pretty nice on him. He's pretty shrewd on him, and he thinks he's got a real chance. Again, not from a big yard, so if this was a Mullins horse or a De Bromhead horse or a Hendo horse, then this would be 2-1, maybe 9-4 fav. So again, I think he's got a really good chance. I can't have Sir Gerhard in this race. He's just a horse that's had a setback and unproven at this trip, so I can't have him. And the one at the each way price is Thunder Rock for the Ollie Murphy yard. I think he's got a good chance of placing, and Ollie Murphy usually has a couple of nice places in these big novice open company races. So definitely think those two have a decent chance. I really like the Real Wacker. He's got a great chance. Time Hill's another one I was looking at, and same with Gallia Delato. Both of those want softer ground, so you can understand the drift on those. If it were to sort of rain overnight, I would expect those horses to come in and maybe consider a play on those. Moving on to the first handicap of the day. This is the Coral Cup handicap. This is the one where we got 66-1 on Commando Fleet last year, and hopefully we can get another big price winner here. I've got 3 horses that I've liked, I've whittled down to. First one is Run for Oscar. Expect this horse to drift. I think he's a bit short at the moment. I did back him at 12s for this race, so I'm happy with my slip at the moment. But I think he's got a really good chance. Won the Cesaro, which end of last year, and he performed pretty nicely. Decent form this year over hurdles. Definitely think he can improve. Shrewd yard, and I wouldn't be surprised this going in. Again, near enough top weight, so I'd be a bit sort of miffed on that one. Comprond, I will throw him in, not as a tip, but as one to mention and one to follow again if the weather comes, or if weather dries out. If this ground turns good to soft, I think he's a major player. He's been drifted out all the way to 14, so he's one to definitely keep an eye on. You know, whether you see a price change where you start seeing the first couple of races, if it's the going gets changed to good to soft, he's definitely one that can come in massively. He could even be 9 to 2, 4 to 1 on the day if the ground gets good for him. The other two horses I will mention, these are both my other two tips in this race. We'll go for the first one, is RIAAN by Gordon Elliott and Jordan Gainford. I really liked his third run last time out. So his third last run. And he was really eye-catching against San Salvador, who's also in this race. Bear in mind, he did in the penultimate race flop after that. Not too sure what went wrong. He just didn't have his day, and then he won next time out. He's off a mark of 135, and I think that's really low. And I think he's a very generous mark of 135. He's definitely a horse I will be looking to play. Massive chance, this horse. Really well on the weights. I think he's a big player. Really like how he jumps. The last hurdles will suit. He gets quite close into his hurdles, and I think last time at 3 runs ago in Cork, there was 12 hurdles. There's only 10, and there's more distance, which I definitely think will suit him. He's a horse with genuine speed, proper galloper, and I think he'll definitely take a lot to beat. He really does have a strong chance. I will be placing a big bet on him. RIAAN for Gordon Elliott. Again, horse and a yard that are very good at this race, and I can't see a Jordan Gainford being a negative on this. He's a very good jockey, and I think he'll get him close. NELLS is the other one I will mention for the Nicky Richards yards, Danny McManaman. He's currently priced 40 to 1. Last season finished 8 lengths behind John Bon. Could be a play. Same marker 135. Not really done much last time this season. Did look eye catching last time out when he fell. Trainer said he apparently hit a divot, or he fell into some sort of ditch which made him to fall, but the trainer's happy with him and I'm happy with him, so I think 40 to 1's a big price, well overpriced, and I have a small play on him as well. So NELLS, RIAAN and Run for Oscar in the Coral Cup. Fingers crossed we get a big winner there. I'll be cheering RIAAN home. The Champion Chase, and what a race this year it's going to be. A shame there's only 7 in the yard, 7 in the race I should say, not the yard, as we can't really target each way angles here. I really like Edwardstone. I was a big Energumene fan, and I've been mulling this over for a couple of days now. The Energumene, the Edwardstone. I can't really throw in Edwardstone this year, even if he has won twice up a big price and he's a big improver. Not over Cheltenham for me. And I keep mulling over. I was big Energumene fan, and I think the John Bon loss today has actually put this more in perspective of how important form and actually looking at a race, how you read a race and how eye-catching it is. Now, I watched last time out for Edwardstone, and he was tracking Energumene, and I think that's the reason why he lost against Edwardstone. And there's a lot of people saying that he was tracking the wrong horse, and from 2 out to 1 out, he really quickened really well. So I definitely be looking at him, seeing his tactics wise. I don't know, or I'm not too sure how he'll play this. Energumene definitely didn't look that nice, and Mullins came out and said the white fences were the issue. Now, I think that's a lot of drab. David Casey even came out on Boyle Sports interview that he said it was absolute rubbish. But he does think that Energumene's got a big chance, and he's been scoring really well. So it is a big tough up. Who will get, where the move will go is more likely, or who will win. Obviously, you see these big swings on Betfair Exchange and the likes, and the shrewd money does talk. But I will say I will favour Edwardstone. He tracked the wrong horse, and he quickened really nicely, and I think he's definitely the one to beat. Energumene had an easy run last year over heavy ground. He's coming here on potentially good to soft grounds, not his favoured sort of surface. And he's not really looked that great. Again, he's sort of like facile. He's won on very short prices this season. Looks pretty nice in 2 of them. And then next time out, he's just not gone and not done it well at all. And it's just a shame because you just think these horses are absolute bankers, and then they come out and drift like a barge, and then God knows what you want to do, because if this horse didn't lose last time out, you'd be about 2s on, maybe 4 or 6. So definitely throws a wide complexion in this race, but I think I'll be signing with Edwardstone now off the back of day 1. Edwardstone for me, 6-4. Alan Kinyard. Go down the list. Edward de Gigit, I can't really have. He's too short. Nubia Negra, he could be one that could be each way placed if there's extra places on offer. You can look at Bet365 at getting the additional each way places, and he'd be the player that I'd have either third, him or Grenadine. And I definitely think this race is wide open for that third spot. Don't think Edward de Gigit gets it, so it's working out of the two which one gets the third spot. But Edwardstone, I think, will be my nap of the day. Moving into the next race, the 410. It's the cross country, and I think this is Delta Works to lose. Delta Work, I think, will romp home. I can't really understand the Galvin hype. I know he's been schooling over these national hunt chases, or the Grand National chases. Yeah, I just can't understand the mad move. But again, we saw this last year. We saw Tiger Roll very, very short price, and then he went out to 9-2, and then you know what happened. Then Delta Work won, and the money talks, and it's sort of happening this year again. Delta Work was very, very short, and then Galvin out of nowhere, from 6s into 4s into 3s into 5-2. Now he's 2-1, and you're thinking, well, could this happen again? But I think Delta Work's a very, very good horse. He's running a couple of handicaps and finished 3rd and 6th. Races he shouldn't be winning off top weight. He came 3rd in his penultimate race behind Back on the Lash. He was top weight. Back on the Lash was kind of 10 stone 3. He was never going to win that race, but he put a really, really good effort in, and that was really eye-catching for me. And this is all of level weight, so again, this shouldn't be a task for Delta Worker. I think this will be an easy job, and I think I could see him winning by 7 or 8 lengths. Can't understand the hype of Galvin, and I think Delta Work is another one to be nap worthy. I'll probably have him as my next best. In the Grand Annual, there's 2 I like in here. At the top of the market, you've got Final Orders, Dino Blue, Andy Dufresne. But the ones I like are Dad's Lad, and Midnight Run. Just talk quickly about the top of the market also. Final Orders is on for a 7th or 6th time, or a 7th time, I'm not too sure, I haven't counted it. But I don't understand the hype of this horse. Again, he's just a horse that just keeps coming. He's from a shrewd yard, Gavin Cromwell. And you know what he does to these horses, he gets these perfectly, timed, perfectly in order, and he gets them propped and ready, and he runs them in the right races. We saw that with Gabby Narco last year. Dino Blue, novice chaser in a handicap. They usually do well. Mares as well, so claims a couple of pounds here and there. Andy Dufresne off the top mark again, same 155 last year, came 2nd in this. Appalling form this season, but again off the same mark. He could be a big player. Back to 11s. He's now 5-6 pokes. I do think the value's gone now. I wouldn't be touching him at those prices. He's too short. Dad's Lad, let's go back to the tips though. Dad's Lad. Another Willie Mullins rider, Brian Hayes on board. I think he could be a very nice weight here of a 145. Best price you can get is 14s, and he definitely could run well. He ran over hurdles last time out, which didn't suit him at all. He's a chaser, and penultimate race in a handicap class 2, he finished. He won that race just a length in front of Effenot Fizz, who ran in the Arkle. I think that's all right form. He's well off his mark. I think 1.45 is a fine mark, and he could improve. He's definitely a horse that's seen a lot of money. When he was running over hurdles, he was into 6-1 in a Group 3 handicap hurdle. So he was definitely punted. So we could see a move for Dad's Lad, and he's very likely race this season. So Dad's Lad for me. Brian Hayes usually runs very well in these handicaps, so one to watch out for. And another one that runs big in these handicaps is Brian Cooper. He definitely knows what he's doing, and this is with J.P. O'Brien. Another horse that's, I guess, he could be well in the weights, or he could be too heavy. I'm not too sure how the handicap has marked him. He's off a mark of 146. I do think he's got a chance, but I don't know if he's well handicapped. He's definitely on a solid mark, and it's probably around his mark, but I do think he'll come on for the run. The win against Mars Harper, I think, was very, very nice in the penultimate race he ran. Running a Group 1 last time out, had absolutely no chance. I mean, he's coming here in in a Class 1 handicap, and I think he's got a good chance. On a mark of 146, he's been rated £3 for that run last time out, and I think he could come on for the run and have a decent chance of a mark, as I said, off a mark of 146. So those are the two I like. 22 to 1 top price with Midnight Run. That's with 365, and Dad's Lad top price is at 14s, and that's with Most Bar. The penultimate race of the Wednesday. It is the bumper, and there's three in here actually I like. The first one is Fun, and that will be ridden by Daryl Jacob, again in the Minears colours. I think the form behind Lily, in front of Lily de Burley, he won pretty cosily, winning by 10 lengths. I mean, it's a bumper, anything can really win in these races, except for, you know, Fassa Vega last year. Very hard to pick out these new incoming improvers, juveniles, especially in bumper forms. It's one of the worst races there is. Again, it could give you a big price winner. It also could do your brains in at the same time. So I think Fun does have a chance at 8. I don't understand the big drift on him. I think Daryl Jacob will definitely want to back a winner after seeing El Fabiolo win and getting pushed off the ride after winning the Irish Arkle over at Dublin Racing Festival. As I said, he's got nice form in front of Lily de Burley. Lily de Burley run next time out. Was really bad at jumping, ran over hurdles and was a poor jumper. Still managed to finish well behind a couple of decent horses. So maybe there's correlated form there, or collateral form. But I think 8 to 1's a decent price, and he won very, very cosily, very unexposed horse. And it's not much you can do about these horses when you don't know what's going to happen. Again, it's all about a guessing game and how much you read into a race, but that's what happens with these champion bumpers, these open company juveniles. You just don't know who's going to be improving massively. ENCANTO BRUNO is my next tip in this race. John McConnell Yard, again, he's looking for his first Group 1 winner. And I think ENCANTO BRUNO could give him another festival winner. Again, another improver. He ran a nice race first time out. I did remember watching that race in October. Again, very, 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 very nice. Again, an improver. We haven't seen him for a while. Last run was in October, and the trainer said he's been preparing really, really nicely. So ENCANTO BRUNO could run big from his odds. And again, it's just a guessing game. Sean Bowen's a good jockey, but you just don't know with these horses. I think he is slightly overpriced, so probably will see money. The last one I have tipped up is Western Diego. An absolutely cruising ride from Western Diego last time out from Patrick Mullins. I'm surprised that not many have jumped on this horse. I've seen a couple of previews saying Mullins does rate this horse. But I think Western Diego is massively overpriced here at 16. So if you go watch his last run, it was very, 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 very nice. I mean, I'm trying to think of the best words to describe it. It was very impressive. Virtually, he's just sat on him the entire way, gave him a quick shake of the reins, and then pulled him back again after clearing about 10 lengths. So he could go really, really well, Western Diego. He's currently 16 to 1. It does put me off a bit because, again, you'd expect a Mullins horse to be a lot shorter than these bumpers if they thought he had a really, really good chance. But I think Western Diego could outrun his odds. Rachel Blackmore on board, not your typical Mullins rider, but she definitely knows how to run. Already had a festival winner today in Honeysuckle, so he could go well. Headpieces are attached as well. So we've got hopefully a better chance of doing well this day, Wednesday. Really, really disappointing. I will be keeping an update on points, our profits throughout the festival, and then comparing at the end of the festival to our last year. I'll go through the results and finally get the winning amount that we made over the last year compared to this year. But fingers crossed it's somewhere near that point. I don't think it will be by the way we started off of day one, but really I'm strong on these handicaps. I like these handicaps. I really do well on them. It's just a shame we didn't start off well. So fingers crossed we do well. Let me know your best bets for tomorrow. Let me know your naps. Let me know if you've got a good position. As I said, I've got a nice couple of selections running at anti-post. Gerri Colombe's my massive fancy at 28. Runs for Oscar, Andy Dufresne. But the ones I've tipped today, I definitely think these extra places are massive value for these places and profits, and potentially running on for their odds. So I definitely think back in these selections will make you win some money. Well, let's hope for anyway. So let me know, guys, in the comments section below what you're sitting on, if there is any that you like. I do read the comments, so I'm trying to reply to them. So anything you like, please let me know, and I'll hopefully come back tomorrow with a couple of winners and hopefully in profit. So cheers, guys, and I'll see you on Thursday.